next part, the public land survey. So you can read a little bit about that. I have some information here on the lab and how these are established. So I'll let you read through that. But the key thing to this is that we have these baselines, right? So there's going to be a baseline, and then we're going to have these meridians, right? So in this case, this would be, so here's our baseline, right? And think of a baseline like a parallel of latitude, right? Parallel. And then we're going to have these meridians, which go north-south. And we're going to have some principal meridians. And then that's going to give us this grid pattern where we have townships going north and south of the baseline. Township 1 south, 2 south, Township 1 north, Township 2 north. And then we're going to have ranges that go east or west, right? So range 1 east, range 2 east, range 1 west, range 2 west. And those are ranges east or west of that principal meridian. You can see there are principal meridians and baselines mostly in the western United States. 13 colonies kind of had their own method back in the 1700s and 1600s. And so we mostly use this for the western United States. For our principal meridian, we use Mount Diablo. And then there's a baseline that goes through Mount Diablo as well, right? So that would be kind of our points over here in California, right? But you can see in other states there's other baselines and there's other meridians they use to go east and west from, right? So I kind of talk about all this over here. Also note that one township and range has 36 sections, and each section is 1 square mile, right? Or 640 acres. In other words, a square mile is 640 acres. But the key thing is each of these sections, township and ranges that is, each township and range is 36 square miles, right? And each individual section because there's 36 of these little boxes in here, each one of these is 1 square mile. Then we can break these up, right? So we can break these little boxes up into the northwest quarter, southwest quarter, southeast quarter, or the northeast quarter over here. And then you could even take those sections and we could even break them down even further, right? So here, they've done the northeast quarter. They broke it into, even more quarters over here. I could do the same thing for the northwest quarter. So, for example, this would be the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter of section 13. So it's kind of confusing. So let's add a point right here. So that would be the southwest 1 quarter, right? Because it's south and west. But it's in this bigger box, which is a northwest quarter of the northwest quarter, and it's section 13, right? So that's how you would designate these points. And that's what I'm going to have you do on this lab, right? So for example, let's look at this Ennis quadrangle. Let's say we're looking at this section 4 with the St. Joe Creek in there, right? So we could separate. So remember, this section is 1 square mile. That's 1 square mile there, right? So if I wanted to locate where St. Joe Creek is, I would say it's in the northwest quarter of section 4, right? The other thing to note is that we need to tell the reader, well, what township is it? Township 1, Township 2, or what range? Range 1, range. So that information you'll find on the side of the map. So if you look over here to see these red numbers, Township 4. If I go farther south, there's Township 5 down here, and there's Township 6. So these are going farther south than some baseline. And then at the top, you'll see there's range 2 up here, range 1 east, and then, we got range 1 west. So there must be some baseline. In fact, they call it so there must be some baseline that goes, actually, it must go right through here. That's the principal meridian. Yeah, there it is. It says right here, it says a principal meridian is going through this map right here, principal meridian, because this is range, these are range 1 and these are range, these are east and these are west over here, right? So that's one thing to kind of pay attention to, is seeing those township and ranges. So to answer the questions for the township and ranges in the USPLS locations, there are several that's going to ask you to look at what are the designations of township and ranges on your map. So again, you're going to be wanted to look at the the edges of your map. In fact, let's look at the Bray quadrangle real quick. So you can see there's some numbers here. Township 45 north, range 2 east, range 1 east, range 1 west. So there's another Mount Diablo meridian goes right through here. So the Bray quadrangle has a Mount Diablo meridian in it as well. So you'll want to label these, designate those numbers for your questions that go on this page here, right? So for question 20, they're asking a little bit about, we're finding some special feature. In fact, let's look at the Bray quadrangle first, since we're on that map. Piccadilly Ridge in the southwest corner of the map. Note the small lake in section 4. Look at that red number. So to accurately designate this lake's position, you would state the lake is at the northeast quarter. In fact, let's look down there. So we'll go down Piccadilly Ridge down here, and you see the section 4, see that little lake there? And so we're saying that to accurately designate that lake, we would say the lake is in the northeast quarter of the northeast quarter. So essentially what I'm doing is see, I'm breaking this out into 4 different, so it's a northeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 4. And note that it's in Township 42 north here, and it should be range 1 west. So yeah, 42 north, range 1 west. So that's what I'm doing there. So you can do a similar thing with the NS quadrangle. So I'll let you do that for the NS quadrangle. For this next question there, in fact, let's get the NS quadrangle for this one. So we'll use the same method to locate the Jumping Horse Stock Ranch in section 20 near the center of the map. So let's find that on this map here. Well, in fact, there's Jumping Horse Ranch right there. And so it's in section 20, right? So is a range in the northwest, northeast, southwest, or southeast quarter of section. So actually this should be ranch, is a ranch. And so the ranch is in the, well, if you were to separate this out, you could see it's in the southeast quarter. So you would say the southeast quarter of section, southeast quarter of, so southeast quarter of section 20, right? So you put southeast here. And what is a township and range of this section? So for section 20 here, because we're looking at this one, you would go over to the side here. It looks like it's in Township 5 south. And then you go north up here and it's range 1 east, right? That's how you find this township and ranges. And so another thing to kind of think about and look at is that, in fact, we got this township and range right here, right? And it always starts with number 1. It goes to number 6, 7, it goes over to 12, 13, 18, 19, and then it goes to 24, 25 down here, and then it scrolls over to 30, and then 31 below that over to 36. So let's zoom out a little bit. This is one square. This is one township and range with 36 boxes, right? It goes from 1 up here and goes to 30. So that's one township and range. Note that right below it, there's another township and range with also, it's section 1, section 20 down here. It also has its own section, but that's in the Township 6 South, right? So you'll see that these numbers repeat, but they're different township and ranges, right? So keep that in mind. All right, so like I said, you're going to be exploring this map. You're going to be looking through the topographic maps and finding these locations. So you've got a little bit of a head start there. Now for gradient, I think it's pretty straightforward here. Just read what I have to do in here for gradient. And then I have some pretty good examples of looking at gradient on. So let's look at this NS quadrangle. Let's look at a question. Look at the lower right margin of the map. Find this. Oh, there's a locator map. So we've done that already, so you can do that. Yeah, so that covers the red lines there. The next part here deals with contour lines. And again, this is going to be pretty straightforward. Read through this, follow my examples. For page 10 here on the lab. And so the important part here, I have some pretty good detail on how to read map scale. You'll see that the one geologists use quite often is this representative fraction, or also called the fractional scale. So RI for representative fraction. And you will find that at the bottom of your map down here. So our maps here have a scale of 1 to 62,500. Make sure you read through my instructions here, and I'll explain how that works, right? Then you can you can answer the questions that relate to either the Bray or the Ennis quadrangle. Then there's some rules for contour lines, right? So follow these. There's some answers. You can answer these questions here, again on page 12. I kind of zoomed in the Ennis quadrangle because I needed to add a better contour line there because it didn't show up very well there. Then we have some contour intervals, pretty straightforward. Benchmarks, read the instructions, you should be able to get that.